don't know who said this, but it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society. We are not meant to be in a constant state of alarm and survival. I don't know who needs reminding, but it is not healthy to thrive under pressure, to move in such a quick pace environment that you don't know what it is to relax and recover because you feel like you are lazy as a consequence, because you are in a society that makes you feel like a measure of worth equates to your productivity. And not just like a healthy, normal level of productivity, but a level of productivity that is getting faster by the day. The expectations and the demands that are falling upon you will become more and more the more that you seem to be able to carry the burden. It's a great privilege if you in this moment can stop and learn how to think rather than what to think. We live in a society that now we can have anything at our disposal. We can receive information at the click of a finger. We live in a very, very convenient world. But I think that the misinformation is that has done us a favour, when in fact it has made us more impatient. It's made us more demanding, and at the receive of constant demands, there seems to be no end point. This system that ultimately filters down, and because they're feeling the pressure, they pressure the people underneath them, and they pressure the people underneath them, and then they pressure the people at the bottom. And the thing that I see is that this is happening universally all over the world. I remember finding school quite a challenge, the workload quite hard, but I can tell you now categorically, having children, the workload, the pressure and the expectations on them is way higher than it was when I was at school. But I can equally tell you, because I've worked in schools, that the pressure on the teachers and the pressure on all the members of the staff are equally increasing. There's always a box to tick. There's always something else that you can do. There's always a way in which you can do better. There's always a way in which you should be thriving. Always a way in which you should be questioning yourself. And I can fundamentally tell you that that is not only not optimal living, but it is extremely unhealthy, and it materializes into our ill health and the reasons why we are very, very sick, and why there is so much more research to prove that how our emotional and mental body has the knock-on domino effect of chronic ill health. I went to a networking event with other people who are equally small business owners, and we was talking about this, and there was somebody who used to work in the NHS, actually two people who used to work in the NHS, and they're saying basically the things that I've seen mirrored in schools is the same thing that's happening in that environment too. And this is the other reason why they are so desperate to get people to work in these places, because more and more people are reaching capacity. Their bodies are in a constant state of shock, alarm and stress. And some are able to just keep pushing themselves, but some push themselves to ill health, and many are just leaving. And somebody's got to say it. But we all went on to basically say, we were talking about how many people equate success to the wage packet that you get at the end of the week or the month, and how big the business is that you're working for. So if you work in the NHS, for example, or you work in a renowned school, maybe in a corporate company that has a really, really good title, lots of people will look upon that and accolade you for that, for doing really well. But that is external success. That is not the same as internal success. And how, although some of us came from very high up and well-paid jobs, there wasn't a single person in that room who would go back to the working world as they used to know it. Even if self-employment isn't all sunshine and rainbows, the benefits to the person far outweigh any of the benefits that they got when they was in employment. What does that say? And the benefits of being in employment was usually not due to the corporation, but often the people that they worked with, whether that be their patients, whether that be their students, or whether that just be their favourite colleagues. And it got me reflecting on, for me, what success is. And I am fortunate enough to have experience of both worlds. So I've gone from that corporate working world into self-employment, where I now run my own business. And I am very fortunate in the sense of my practice is full, and I'm in a comfortable position. However, even if I wasn't, which at times and months I haven't been, especially when I was starting out, that wasn't the case. But the thing that always got me ticking over and always made me feel like this feels in alignment with who I am, and I wouldn't give that up, is that my body is no longer in that constant state of alarm. I can watch long form content, and I know that sounds like a really silly brag, but for anybody who doesn't have an underlying condition as to why they can't concentrate, the reason why many of us cannot sit and concentrate or be still is because of this, what I'm talking about. It's because your body is in a constant state of stress and alarm and go, 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 and I have to do. And I no longer have to do that. I get to actually take care of myself in the way that I am meant to take care of myself, in the way that everybody is meant to take care of themselves, but maybe they don't have the information or the resources in order to be able to effectively do so. Because I do understand that when we're in the working world, we have to do that. That's the reason why we are in that position. We have to provide for ourselves, we have to live, we have to provide for our families, so I totally get that. But back to what I was saying about the success is that I now have a really healthy work-life balance too. I get to have a well-being day if I need one. If I'm reaching my own capacity, I get to notice that, take note of that, and take heed of that, and take space and time if I need it. I'm also completely able to feel a sense of freedom. And I know autonomy, a sense of being able to self-govern your own life and freedom, is absolutely consequential to happiness and to feeling good. And I get to now do that. I also get to do things like, if my children have a day where I get to go in school and or they do a play or I have a parents' evening, I get to decide that I get to go. I don't have to ask for permission and to be told that it's not a good enough reason why I can't be in work. And the reason I made this video is not to suggest that everybody jumps into self-employment. I know that employment brings a great amount of safety, and for many people it'll also bring a great amount of enjoyment, but it should just not be the source of your worthiness. My work for me personally makes me feel both in alignment, I have a sense of purpose, I get a lot out of my job. But if I do or I don't do my job, it doesn't change the fact that I'm worthy and I feel good and that my body's not in a constant state of alarm. If I'm able to squeeze everything that is meant for that day into the first part of my day and I get to go home, I get to do that. Life is about balance. And I know that some of you might be thinking, but I know loads of people will actually really thrive under pressure. And I will fundamentally tell you from my experience, not from facts, but from what I've seen and I've observed, is that people who thrive under pressure are normally the people who are not really working a day in their life because they absolutely love what they do and they are in alignment with that, and for them their business is their baby, it's a huge part of their identity, and they're not feeling the burnout as a consequence because of that. But on the other side of the fence is the people who just really want to impress, they really want to feel good enough, and they are sourcing their worthiness from a never-ending pot that has a hole in the bottom. In a corporate working world where if you do get sick, if you do reach capacity, if you can no longer give to them what they expect, no matter how nice they are to you, whilst you're doing the things that they want of you, that relationship dynamic will change when you are no longer able to give them what they need or what they want. And this will result in either you going back into that working world once you can and basically redoing it all over again to feel good enough, or alternatively you will leave and they will replace you. Remember this, you are not replaceable to yourself. You are not replaceable to your family. You are replaceable to a position. And this video is not done to alarm anybody, to stress anybody out, just more to bring awareness on, one, if you are experiencing anything like this, and two, how you can take care of yourself so you never have to reach that point, and do your role but don't do any more. If that means pushing yourself past the brink of wellness into your illness.